Alright, what is up? This is SLOplays, and guys, we have gargantuan, massive news for Dragon Ball here. This is an interview that took place recently with Akio Ioku. As you guys know, he is the head honcho, the big man for Capsule Corporation Tokyo, doing all things Dragon Ball when it comes to the anime, video games, merchandise, all that good stuff, right? Again, Shueisha is handling everything with the manga as well as Toyotaro, so this isn't really in relation to any manga-related stuff. This is going to be specifically talking about the future of Dragon Ball and just why Daima is what it is, right? Okay, there has been an official confirmation here in this interview that it was definitely inspired by GT, which a lot of us, you know, we knew, we saw it. As soon as it got revealed for the first time, we're like, all right, Goku's a kid again. They're going on an adventure. You know, it's for the 40th anniversary, but it's not only just GT. Dragon Ball Daima is like the perfect fusion and balance between every single series for Dragon Ball that has existed, including Heroes. It's got OG Dragon Ball stuff, DBZ stuff, Dragon Ball Super stuff, GT stuff, and Heroes stuff, because Heroes is really primarily based on Demon Realm things, right? So let's go ahead and talk about this, but before we do, I want to, shout out DBS Hype as well as Herms and Enomis, hopefully I'm not mispronouncing that. They have actual good translations that I'm going to be using. Normally I would go to the interview on the site, which they do have it. You can read through it if you want to on there, but I don't want to risk reading off anything that might be mistranslated or misinterpreted, because then it's just going to be a big mess and then we're going to be like confused as fuck, right? We don't want that. So DBS Hype posted this. This is the major thing that I wanted to kind of go over here. He said in the latest interview about Daima, Ioku states that there's no doubt Dragon Ball will continue for decades to come, okay? I believe in the interview he said like it's probably going to be lasting another 50 years or some shit like that, which, yeah, I kind of expected Dragon Ball. I don't see Dragon Ball going anywhere anytime soon. It's so massive. You know what else is massive? Yeah, and like it's going strong, and Daima is just, you know, a little side thing, okay? I don't want to say little side thing, but it's just a side thing that's, you know, was mainly for that 40th anniversary of the OG Dragon Ball series and everything. So this is just nice to hear an official confirmation from, you know, the producer, big guy himself, Ioku, okay? Anytime you hear Ioku's name, you know it's some, like, you know, some serious real shit, okay? So again, the translations come from Venexis. Again, this is Enomis who does it. They have like two different names, okay? So let's get into the actual interview. This has all the information that I thought was very interesting. This kind of stuff is very interesting to me. So hopefully you guys can lock in here and hear what he had to say. So executive producer Akio Ioku discusses Daima's origin 6 years ago during DBS Superheroes production. 6 years ago? That was 2019, y'all. 2019, they were already having discussions and you know, just like the origin of Daima, right? They decided to do a new TV series. Interesting. At first, Toriyama's involvement was going to be minimal, but he really got into it, creating most of it in the end, which is awesome, okay? That's why Daima, again, I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but I'm just saying, like, you know, this is Toriyama's last work, and this is his last major involvement in a series. So it's like, you gotta at least give it a chance, right? And again, I know there are people that still aren't really on board with Daima or don't really care for it, but I think after that last episode, and now we're at the climax, it's going to be a lot more people might, you know, give it a chance or fall in love with the series, right? And hopefully once all the episodes are out, and then they also have all the English dub episodes, I think opinions will start to sway and change a lot, okay? But this is very interesting because I remember back in 2019, this is when Dragon Ball Super was off air. There was no more episodes. They already had the Broly movie, you know, that came out, and we were still kind of expecting Dragon Ball Super Season 2 or whatever, a return of the series to adapt probably whatever was happening in the manga, okay? Now, at that time, I believe in 2019, that was still the Moro arc, if I'm not mistaken, or it was like maybe a bit of the Tournament of Power, like the very end of it or whatever, but I'm pretty sure we were in the Moro arc at that time, okay? I remember there was a lot of talk that, and you know, like teases and leaks, that there was a new Dragon Ball anime in production, right? We expected it to be Super. There was no specifics on what it was going to be. So this might actually have been what that was. It was originally planned to be Daima. Now, the thing is, I don't know if Daima was still planned to release this many years later, or if it was going to be something that was going to come earlier. But they already had Dragon Ball Super superhero production going, so I'm pretty sure this was all planned out, and this whole time, Dragon Ball Super maybe wasn't even the initial plan, okay? I think that the Daima thing was all in preparation for probably the 40th anniversary. And maybe it was supposed to release a little bit sooner, because I think the 40th anniversary was supposed to be in, I want to say 2023 or 2024, right? And, I mean, it did release in 2024. Daima did, so whatever, I digress. I thought that was very interesting, because this gives a lot of, you know, context and actually makes a lot of sense if that was the case, right? If they weren't actually going to be doing Super returns, but it was supposed to be Daima this whole fucking time, right? But this was also going on around the same time, you know, with superhero. Okay, this was just discussion. Okay, this was just like, hey, you know, let's do a new anime or whatever. But they were already planning the superhero movie at that time, right? That's cool, man. That's actually really, really interesting. So Yoku says Daima was intended as a show that parents could watch with their children. So it was made to appeal to both the kids and adults in their 30s who were kids back when Dragon Ball GT first aired. So yes, making Goku and Kids was specifically done to appeal to the GT generation. So I made this joke last night. Daima is Dragon Ball GT Rebirth. Okay, I wasn't being serious. That's obviously not exactly what that means. Okay, it has a lot of inspiration, right, for the GT generation. Which, again, it's obvious that that's definitely what they were going for, but it's always cool to see the official source just flat out say that's what it was meant to be, right? Because they never really said it. It was just, you know, you're looking at it and you're like, all right, this is just fucking GT, right? Now, keep in mind, that does not confirm that we're getting Super Saiyan 4. I know the Super Saiyan 4, you know, hype train is really big right now. There's fan art everywhere. Everybody thinks that's what's going to happen. And as cool as that would be, I don't think that's exactly what's going to happen. Because, again, Daima is not just entirely GT. It's so much more different than GT, right? There was no Demon Realm. They didn't go to the Demon Realm. They were going through space and, like, different, you know, planets and everything. So there's the aspect of exploration. The only thing that takes it from GT is kids, turn into kids, but everybody, or, you know, the whole Dragon Ball team, they're kids now, not just Goku, which I prefer that, in my opinion. That you could disagree with me, but I think that's way better than just having Goku as a kid, right? Like, just, if they're gonna do it, everybody just turn them all to kids, right? Just make it the, you know, it's all or nothing. And then the exploration, like the exploration and the adventure aspect of the series is kind of all it has, right? You know, it's just so different, right? There are, like I said, it's like a good fusion and balance between every single series. Like, when I'm watching some of these, you know, episodes when it comes to the fights, that's Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super type of shit, right? Like that last episode we had, that fight, that was Dragon Ball Super easily. The transformations where they're going, you know, Vegeta's going Super Saiyan 3 and stuff, or Goku's doing his crazy Kamehameha with the Sheeta animation. Like, that feels like, you know, a fusion of Z and Super, okay? And then you have OG Dragon Ball stuff where, you know, it's like got the gags and the funny, you know, comedy. You know, OG Dragon Ball had a lot more comedy aspects to it and more silliness to it, but still had some really good serious fights, okay? And then, like, the fight choreography, that to me feels a lot more like OG Dragon Ball. The OG Dragon Ball fights, like, whenever it's like, you know, world tournament stuff, that shit is like peak Dragon Ball to me, right? I love the crazy, like, you know, epic ass fights, but like they're like blowing up planets and breaking dimensions. But OG Dragon Ball, bro, that's like, you just want good hand-to-hand combat for the most part. Like, that's the shit right there, right? But yeah, I digress. Like, it's not just GT, but a lot of it, you know, I think there was good inspiration for it. And that's probably why we're not really seeing, we're still not seeing a lot of, like, crazy violence in Daima, because, again, they're really trying to push for the appeal of kids, and I can see why they're doing that. You know, a lot of these anime that, you know, that are really popular, like JJK, or I don't even know, like My Hero Academia or something like that. Like, even though that has a lot of violence in it, you know, there are still parents out there that would not want kids to watch that. right? So I think they're really trying to appeal as much to everyone as possible, make it like, you know, rated E for everyone type of thing, which again, I understand that. Like, look at Pokemon. Pokemon is like one of the biggest things in the entire universe, bro. Like, and that they're not having Pokemon's head get cut off and shit, or like having like weird, you know, nasty scenes or anything like that. I mean, unless it's like the manga. The manga has some crazy shit, bro. Okay, but I'm just getting to something different. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, my like nieces and nephews and like my younger cousins and everything, they all love Pokemon. Like, anytime like I talk to them, they don't talk about Dragon Ball. They talk about Pokemon. They don't talk about any other anime other than Pokemon. That's probably the only anime related thing that they know, right? So I see why that's what they were trying to go for with it. But, you know, it still has a lot of, you know, that GT essence to it, right? It's like an inspiration. While making Goku a kid was seen as making the series accessible to a wider audience. Oh, there it is, right there. Literally what I just said, right? It was Toriyama's idea to turn the entire main cast into kids too. Toriyama was also concerned many people wouldn't know DB's story, hence the general overview at the start of each Daima episode. I understand that. I get it, right? That's cool that Toriyama was the one that said, hey, we're not just doing Goku this time. We're going to do all of them. Like, I like that. Like, he said all or nothing. He said, no, we're not. We're going to change it up a little bit. And that's cool, okay? It's cool. You get to see little kid Vegeta fight, right? You get to see little kid Piccolo and stuff. That's awesome, bro. I wish we saw Gohan. I wish we saw Gohan, man. That's like the only thing that's really missing. Rip Goten and Trunks, though. That shit still makes me laugh. Like, we finally aged them up to teens. And then they come with this shit and they're babies. They're literal babies. No. Oh, man. But hey, we're getting that one shot here pretty soon. Okay. Moving on here. Interesting. He says that, you know, Toriyama himself said that he was also concerned many people wouldn't know DB's story, right? And I get that, but I also, he seems to not understand how popular his work is. Which I've heard that, you know, a lot, that Toriyama, he's very humble about that, you know, even though he was rich, you know, he was making good money and everything, you know, bless this man, dude, bless this man, bless this man's heart. But yeah, like, I get why he's saying that, because again, the goal was to try to expand the audience for Dragon Ball. So if they're little kids, little younger kids that maybe have never seen the series or anything, or don't know much about it, yeah, you would have to get a little bit of a recap to understand it, and maybe that would entice you after you see that, you watch the entire series. Let's check out the other, you know, series, okay? Let's check out GT, let's check out Super and all that stuff, right? Yeah, that's cool. I like that. And that's, yeah, every single episode has that little, you know, explanation, like a little introduction to the series, right? Compared to the movies, there was more time to develop Daima's story, with much back and forth with Toriyama to flesh things out. So much so that the story wasn't fully completed by the time the anime's production had begun, similar to the original manga's run in that regard. Okay, so maybe that's why there's a little bit of a, I don't want to say a little bit, but there's a pacing issue in this series, okay? Like the 20 episodes right now, like I will say that there are some things in some of the episodes, or some complete episodes, that I just feel like it's just like, come on, like wrap it up, pick it up, come on, let's get to the meat of this shit, right? Still a great series, don't get me wrong, I very much enjoyed every single episode, don't get me wrong, okay? But I'm just saying, like, I have to agree that with what people say, like, there are some pacing issues right with it, right? Among the various new bits of backstory revealed in Daima, Ioku was particularly, why did I say it like that? Surprised by the idea that people with pointed ears originally came from the demon realm. He believes Toriyama had this vaguely in mind for a while and didn't just come up with it for Daima's sake. Yeah, that's cool, man. Pointed ears equals demon realm, right? You from the demon realm. Ioku wants to expand Dragon Ball and thinks it will still be loved even 50 years from now, but he's not specific on future plans. He concludes by saying Daima's climax will be both predictable and unpredictable in parts, and rewatching from the beginning afterwards will heighten the fun. Yes, I cannot wait. I'm waiting for the dub to fully be done. All 20 episodes, which that's going to be a while, bro. That's going to be like mid or a little bit over middle of this year until it's probably done, which sucks. All right, I think it's gonna be like what, probably done in like maybe like June or something. Finally, God, dude, by the time this is finished at the end of this month, Daima will just get to the episode 8 where Goku fights Tamagami 3. That's really bad. So that's another 12 weeks worth. So that's another 3 months after. So yeah, it would be done around like late May, June. That's whenever it'll finally be out, man. I don't want to wait that long, dude. Oh, God. All right, whatever. But yeah, once I do my rewatch of it, I'll really give you guys my opinion on what I think about it, okay? So I think that was the end of the interview there. But that gets me really excited because that's kind of how Dragon Ball is. That's a perfect summary of how a lot of this modern Dragon Ball is. Like, they do some shit that, like, Dragon Ball follows, like, a very specific formula at the end of the day. But they've done some stuff where I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I did not expect Frieza, Android 17, and Goku to team up to beat Jiren, okay? After 17 supposedly we thought was dead. He sacrificed himself. And then 17 was the one who was actually, at the end, the winner. Like, nobody expected that. If you expected that, you got some foresight bullshit going on, okay? Same thing with, what is it? Broly coming back, right? As a new Broly, canon Broly, right? Goku Black being the thing, like all these weird things that like are fan ideas, you don't actually expect them to do. Beast Gohan, like what the fuck, bro? Okay, again, that's unpredictable, but it's predictable because also it's like, okay, we gotta, Dragon Ball, modern Dragon Ball, at least a lot of this stuff, we gotta play on the hype of previous older things, bring them back and change it up a little bit, right? So it's like, okay, Beast Gohan, homage to Super Saiyan 2. So shoutouts to Enormous here. So this is just basically the same interview, but there's some extra things in here. Again, we talked about the 6 years ago production of it. He was only going to be intended to work on it and be involved very lightly, but he ended up doing most of it. This is the first time we created a TV series from scratch. And I think Toriyama found it exciting, unlike a movie, which has time constraints, more flexibility in developing the story and exchanging ideas, producing the anime before the yes. We primarily targeted viewers 30s. Our main goal was to attract a wider audience. Yes. GT. If GT stood for Grand Tour Through Space, Daima is about an adventure in the Great Demon Realm. So they could have called it Dragon Ball GDR. Oh, that sounds... No, dude. I like Daima. Unlike Super, which focused on Goku's increasing strength, the series takes a different approach, showing him fighting dynamically with the power pole. Back in the OG days. Yes, we know about that. Newcomers understand also growth. Yeah. And that's why, like, here, I understand why some people don't like the idea of turning back to kids again. I get it. Again, we know why they did it. Again, play on the OG Dragon Ball hype. OG Dragon Ball. Okay, but when you see a character grow up, okay, like people aren't upset with them just being kids, like the idea of kids. Again, it's not that like, oh, because people will like say like, oh, well, if you don't like this, that means you're not a real Dragon Ball fan. OG Dragon Ball did all this. It's like, no, we get that. Like we like OG Dragon Ball. We like all this stuff. But when you see a character grow, progress, evolve, get stronger. And then all that, in a sense, I don't want to say all of it, but in a sense, it gets, downplayed and, we go back. Like, we're not going forward anymore, we're going back, right? It doesn't sit well, right? Because you're like, well, all that hard work that Goku did to get stronger and everything, even though he is still very strong, it's a nerf. It's basically what that is. Like, they nerfed your boy. They nerfed my boy. They did my boy dirty. And again, don't take me seriously. I'm just making jokes here. But no. What I'm seriously trying to say, okay, actually seriously, is that's why there are people that don't like, or kind of like, oh God, like all that, all that hard work he did, all that, evolution for this character, Dragon Ball evolution. Delete this video. It's gone, right? For a lot of it gets erased. So it's like Goku's growth, right? Yeah. That's how it feels. I'm not saying that's, how everyone is, but I'm just saying it feels like that, at least to me. But that doesn't mean I hate it or I have a problem with it or anything. No, it doesn't. I'm just saying, like, I get what people are trying to say. if that's actually what people are trying to say, okay? If you just hate it because you just don't like to see little kids fighting or whatever, like, okay, whatever. But it's like, look at Gon and Caulifla. Like, they're like the, you know, basically the faces of Hunter x Hunter, for example. And Hunter x Hunter, people love that shit, right? But I say that, and then Gon's, I don't want to spoil it, but something happens at the end of the anime that kind of, you know, yeah. Okay, all the blah, blah, blah series is designed to be enjoyable for kids and overly childish. Yeah, it's not completely childish. There are some things in there, right? We have to ensure the characters and story remain compelling. We wanted parents to feel encouraged to watch with their kids, so we paid close attention to the presentation. Daima takes place after the Majin Buu saga. How exactly does it fit into the broader Dragon Ball timeline? Toriyama personally wrote the story, and it's directly connected to the Majin Buu saga. Ioku confirmed, okay? So that's why it will be leading into... This is all part of the main timeline, okay? This isn't like GT, where even though that is still, you know, it has stuff from the previous series and everything, it's like GT's like in its own thing, okay? This will eventually, from what I've heard, be connected to Dragon Ball Super. I'm not saying that's a 100% confirmation, but we already see little things they're hinting at and like laying the groundwork for, you know, with showing off the Kais and everything, and like what is it, Rymus or whatever, who very, very similar to Omni King, okay, Zeno and all that. So yeah, I feel like it would be a missed opportunity to bring up this whole anime, have all this go on, and not have it connect to the future of Dragon Ball. Whether or not they do the continuation of Super or make a whole new series or a movie or whatever, it should have some connection and references and, you know, things that happen that are all connected, okay? We wanted to highlight how everything is interconnected right there, okay? For example, I was shocked to learn that all the characters with pointed ears originate from the Great Demon Realm. It's a detail of Toriyama. We're not forcing new ideas into the story. We're uncovering elements that were already present in Dragon Ball's world. Exactly. The world building of Daima, as well as the lore. This has got to be the most lore I think I've ever seen in Dragon Ball. Like, within the short time frame of only 20 episodes, they dropped so much. They probably dropped more lore than the entirety of the Dragon Ball series. Don't take me seriously. I'm just being funny. But yeah, there's a lot of lore. They're like, God, dude, we had so much stuff. You know, the pointed ears and the glins and all this shit. Like, what the fuck? They had so much stuff, bro. I'm going crazy. Can't even speak right now. We don't want to deviate too far from the franchise's core, but at the same time, we need to innovate to keep things exciting. Good. Yes. Keep it balanced, right? Have innovation, but also keep it Dragon Ball. Okay, we want the cool fights. We love that shit, right? And we like the information, you know, all the extra lore and, you know, the world building, all that too, right? Finding that balance is the challenge, exactly. It is hard, right? We weren't sure how it would be received, but we wanted to reach a global audience. Yes. Dragon Ball is viewed on par with live-action TV dramas. Yes, see? They know. Okay, these people know. So we have to consider how to position it strategically. It's not just an anime. It's a global cultural phenomenon. They said it right there, bro. Yeah, we know that. Dragon Ball kicks fucking ass, right? Dragon Ball Solo is your favorite anime series. Screw all these other anime series. I'm just joking. People are going to shit their pants. They're going to be like, oh my God, One Piece is the best shit ever. And what does the future hold for Dragon Ball? Producing anime and games takes time, but we're steadily preparing for the future. Yes, sir. We love to hear it. Bro, I'm going crazy. I'm spitting all over my mic, all over my screen. I got to get a whole towel and wipe all this shit down at the end of this video, okay? Want to go even further beyond? Ioku stated, there's no doubt Dragon Ball will continue for decades to come. The final episode of Daima will air on the 28th at the end of this month, promising a thrilling conclusion. Ooh. I am hopeful, and I believe that there won't be too much of a cool down, you know, like, oh yeah, Goku and friends saved the world and all this shit or whatever. I want that last episode. I want every single episode until the end to have some big major shit, okay? I don't want one full episode to just be, all right, guys, we're going back. We're turning back into adults and stuff, and then that's it. Goodbye. You know, Goku said goodbye. No, I want it to fully, you know, I want everything. I gotta savor these episodes. There will be incredible action scenes and unexpected twists. You might think you figured out the plot, but will surprise you. Watching the series again from the beginning may reveal new details. Saying it right now, either Degesu or fucking Arinsu, they're gonna somehow the third eye is gonna get ripped out of his head, and in like one of the final episodes, they're gonna take it and use it. Like, oh, you know how cool it would be to have a Rinsu, third eye or Rinsu, like a female, like final boss villain, dude. That would be so fucking cool, bro. And like they got to do some crazy shit. Maybe that's when Goku actually will do some crazy transformation. Neva's gonna boost his power, and then Goku's gonna start growing red fur, and his hair's gonna get longer, and he's gonna have yellow eyes, and he's gonna go Super Saiyan fucking 4, dude. Woo! That's it for this video, guys. You better drop a like, 1,000 likes, and that's it. Peace.
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet.